Good morning. What's up, everybody? We have a Viking and a Ben. That's all we have is a Ben and a Viking. And you can see the big old whack in my nose. I got whacked in the nose while weed whacking. It actually happened like 2 days ago, but it's like getting worse. I actually got a chunk of, I don't know, something. Literally, I was weed whacking it. Like hit me in the nose, and I didn't think it was a big deal. It was like an actual sliver. Anyway, so I got a Rudolph nose going on here. Oh well, I'll just lean back and you can look up my nostrils, my hairy ass old man nostrils. You won't notice my Rudolph nose. What's up, Viking? Jump in, Viking. Come on. I know you want to. I know you don't want to, but you will. Stop picking your nose on camera. Yeah. Jam my finger up there. Anyway, so what are you guys up to? I don't know how long I'm going to stream because I'm just not in the mood. Oh, crap. Plug this thing in so it stays charged because it sucks up battery power. And we're like printing away the Pumpkin King. It's printing away. It tried printing it last night, but the frickin' I really like the Wham Bam PEX sheet, except it uses a much higher temperature than everything else. Like the TH3, I'm on the TH3D blue matte thing, easy matte. I can run that 4050C and it's fine. Everything sticks to it. I don't need to do anything. I run that PEX sheet. The PEI is the same. I run it about 60, 65. Never have a problem. That PEX sheet holds really well, except for like on this printer, which has a crappy heater, which even at 70 degrees in the core, the outer edges is like 40. It doesn't heat evenly or well. Not only that, it takes forever. I literally have to heat it up in 10-degree increments. I can heat it up to about 50. If I click on 60 while it's cold, it'll go into thermal runaway because it won't heat fast enough. It'll get to about 50, 60 degrees, and then, it doesn't heat fast enough, and the little Marlin, needs to heat so much in so many seconds, then kicks off, and it goes and starts screaming and yelling and chirping and burping and making high-pitched noises and saying, shut me off and restart me. So I literally have to do it. Once I get to 50 degrees, I have to go 55, 60, 65, 70, and kick it up in 5-degree increments or it'll whine. And even at 70 degrees, it lifts on the corner sometimes. And yeah, I can put stupid little, discs on the end and all that, but why bother when I can run it at 40 degrees, use less power, and just use the TH3D Easy Mat. Yeah, barbecuing. Sure you are. You're barbecuing with the family, and yet you're on here listening to me babble. Sure. Oh, no. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ben. It is the bed in the sense that it's a cheap-ass bed, but all the sheets work with the cheap-ass bed. You know what I mean? I like the Wham Bam sheet. Don't get me wrong. I like their magnets. I like their flex plate. But I can buy other stuff cheaper that I don't have to worry about whether it's on my cheap bed or the good bed. Because the Wham Bam works fine on the Llama Core with the better, it's got a better heater. The bed's a better heater. I don't have to worry about it. With the blue sheet, I can just, with the Easy Mat, I just put it on whatever printer I want, and I know it'll work. With the Wham Bam, I have to crank it up 70, 75 degrees to get it to hold it all. Otherwise, it just pops right off. And it's chewing up more power. It takes longer to heat up. If it drops at all, it releases it. I mean, it releases way better. I think somebody's here. UPS is here. Guess what I got? Hee. I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. It was actually for my mother. But I gotta, deal with it. Anyways. Why? The TH3D one's just as good. Sorry, it is. I like them both. The Wham Bam's nice. I have them both. They both work. The TH3D or the Wham Bam is more polished. It's a little nicer fit and finish. Doesn't make it work any better. I mean, if you've got a good heater that'll heat up and maintain 70, 80, 90 degrees on your bed, I like the finish the Wham Bam gives you, the PEX sheet gives you on the bottom. It's not really polished because the first thing you got to do is hit it with some sandpaper or steel wool to make it actually work. You can't just leave it classic smooth. But it is kind of a nice finish if you do it. It seems a little more rugged than regular PEI too. It'll take a hot nozzle poke for a second better than PEI. Yeah, no, the Wham Bam, I got nothing against Wham Bam. So says I got a Wham Bam, great, they're good. You're not going to say you're wasting your money because you're not, but you can get just as good for less in the sense of actual function. The Wham Bam does look better physically. It's just better packaging, better. I mean, but it's fit and finish. It's not actual working. The TH3D one works fine. I don't even know what's on the Mini, the Max Micron. It's some other. They all work. They just work. Any of the magnets with the flex sheets, they just work. What is up 3D printing and painting? I like them all. I got nothing. Any one of the three, get whichever one works for you. I like them all. They all work. They just work. I will take a magnet flex plate over glass, over any other kind of bed surface, the magnetic sheet. And actually, I think the stupid magnet sheet is probably better, even than like the Perugia little magnets all built into the bed, for no other reason than it's a more even coverage. It holds better on the edges, I think, of the actual plate. Now, the other thing I have noticed, and it's doing it to both of them, after about 6 months, the magnet sheet, where again it's it's basically a fancy sheet that we used to print on the side and stick on your car if you're doing if you got one of those company logos that you slam on the door of your car. That's basically what it is. Only if the magnet sticker can handle the bed. Yeah, but they all do. They're all like 150 degrees now, or 125 degrees, which if you're going over that, you probably shouldn't be using one of these inexpensive magnet sheets anyways. If you're talking a whole different class of printer or everything. But the magnets, and they're both doing it, so it doesn't matter if it's a Wham Bam or the TH3D, or all three of them are doing it, or I don't know, that was some cheapo no name I got off of Amazon, I think. I think it's actually a Creality magnet sheet or something. I don't even remember where I got it. But they're all swelling on the edge. On the very outside edge, there's a little bit of an up curl now over time, and I keep curing it, and it keeps doing it. But I just take, like once a month, I've been taking this thing to the edge and just shaving, and it's literally like a millimeter swells, and they're both doing it. And that could just be my environment. It could be they absorb moisture from the air, the humidity. I don't know. But all three of them are doing it. Yeah, if you got the one on the Ender 3 that's stock, that's the magnet to magnet. They're both magnets, that stupid flexi sheet. Not any of the good magnets to flex metal plates. Because even the Ender one the Creality one I looked at rated at like 100 degrees or something. And there's a bunch on eBay and Amazon, and like I said, this one is off of Amazon. It's rated like 110 with a TH3D, and the TH3D is 120, and the Wham Bam is 130 or 150. But I'm never going to go that high. None of my printers will go that high. The average hobby printer isn't going to do it. If I was going to get a Railcore and print, what's up, Red Light? If I had a Railcore or something like that, multi-$1,000 printer that I plan on printing nylons and that kind of stuff, sure, I'd definitely go with probably something even better than a Wham Bam. At least a Wham Bam. That would be my minimum. But they just, people overthink it. Don't give me, they're all good. I'm not going to say don't get a Wham Bam. Get a freaking Wham Bam. If you can afford it, get it. If you can't afford it, get the TH3D. It works. It works just fine for your ABSs, your PLAs, your PETGs. It's just fine. Whatever you do, just get one. Because a flex plate, the steel flex plate, is way better than using glass or blue tape on its own, or any of that crap direct on the bed. Just being able to remove the plate and just walk away with it. If I can get it off of there, because this magnet's too strong, and just walk away with it and flex the material off. It's just, it is the bomb. But see, here's the problem. Like, my PEI is already damaged. The corner's coming up here. I don't know if you can see that hole in it right here that just one day cracked. And when I took the stuff off, and it wasn't even like I had to like chisel anything off. I just flexed it, and the piece of PEI came up with the print. And this is actually the newest surface I have of all of them, and also the least used of all of them. And it's just regular old PEI, and it is a cheapo brand PEI. I have no idea where I got it. I'm pretty sure it was an Amazon cheap piece. The only thing I don't recommend, and everyone is recommending, is doing the double-sided. Putting like the TH3D on one side and the Wham Bam on the other, PEI on the other. Don't do that. Bad, bad, bad. And the reason being is the added thickness of the material makes the magnet weaker. It doesn't hold as well. And if you get something like ABS, it will literally pull it'll have enough strength at the point to pull the sheet up off the magnet. Believe me, I know. Done it. So not double-sided. It makes it weak. Unless you're just doing PLA with everything, and then you're only running it at 40 or 50 degrees. It's not really warping anyways. Then go ahead and do the double-sided. But if you do like a lot of PETG, ABS, stuff like that, I would not double-side these. I would do two separate ones if you want. PEI on one and Wham Bam on another, PEX or the Easy Mat. Get two different plates. Don't play the 2-on-1 thing. I mean, it works. I'm being all about it at that point. But you definitely lose magnet power. Oh, my freaking kill me. You lose magnet power by double sheeting it. Yeah, I would never print directly on the metal anyways that I could think of. Why bother? There's much better ways to print than directly on metal. I got no need for it. Pretty much the Easy Mat is my go-to now for everything. The only thing I mostly print PLA too. I don't print a lot of PETG, very little PETG, no ABS at all anymore. On occasion, PC, polycarbonate, very, very seldom because I don't like the off gases. I gotta I don't know. I wanted to restart rebuilding the Llama Core. I was going to order everything because today or tomorrow, I think tomorrow, the new head carriage that Mr. Awesome RCC and CE Barry made me should be here today or tomorrow, and I was going to start rebuilding it. I can't get belts. Everybody's out of stock on belts. And I don't want to buy cheapos. I want to get good Gates belts. And I went to two different places, and they both were out. For the 6mm, and I'd love to go to the 9mm, but then I'd have to replace all of the bearings, and I have all the pulleys and everything ready for the 6mm, so I'm going to stay with 6mm. But I want to put new belts on it. And of course, nobody has any. Printed solids out, and I don't know, I look somewhere else and said screw it, because I don't want to take any chances of buying cheapo. It's still and it runs fine. I may just slap the carriage on there and not worry about it too much. Although I don't know if I can, because it should actually shorten the belts or lengthen the belts. The carriage is much smaller later. Yeah, I print a lot of TPU. I don't have any problems with TPU. I put TPU on the TH3D. It sticks almost too well to the TH3D. It's really hard to get off, and you can't just flex it off. Because it just flexes with it. I actually sometimes flex it and then use my little spatula to get under it. And that, stresses it enough where once it starts lacing, it'll pop off. But yeah, that TH3D Easy Mat is my go-to. I like it better than... I don't even have any more build tack around. Build work great, but it was too soft. It was too easy to damage, too easy, wore out too fast. Will not take a hot nozzle hit, and I'm always, me, was dicking with crap. So sometimes I gotta reload the top of this thing. How did you rip a T3? It's like near impossible to rip that crap. I've sanded it and refinished it and beat on it and chiseled at it and taken knives to it. It's near impossible to rip that crap. I love it. Must have had it too tight or something. I use TPU on mine constantly. The Max Micron, that's pretty much all it prints is TPU. And that's got the TH3D on it. I never have a problem. You're either too close or you didn't let it cool down enough. Or got it too hot. Can't remember now. A couple of items I found it actually comes off of that Easy Mat easier while hot. I think it's TPU. It almost comes off easier. It does stick too well, but it's hard to get off. But I've never been able to. I've damaged the print getting it off, not the TH3D mat. I've had to scrape the crap off the TH3D mat because it ripped the print in half. How the hell do you rip? I've literally not been able to rip the. That's one of the reasons I like it so much, because I cannot damage it. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I've dropped a hot nozzle into it and left it a little too long, and it put a little dimple in it. But way better than Build Tack. You touch it with a hot nozzle and it just mushrooms out away from it. How the hell do you destroy the Easy Mats? I abuse them more than anything. I use them more and I abuse them more, and I can't get them. I can see myself bending the metal and screw up before I damage that. I've scraped and sanded and put knives to and everything, and I can't. I mean, you can scrape it up and screw it up, but you can just sand it down again. I've sanded that big one 3 times now. Now it needs to be replaced because it's getting a little too thin. But I never have a problem with it damaging it. I usually damage the print before it'll damage it. Because it just don't. It's harder. It's a harder material. I mean, I've had this on there since I got it. And that's pretty much all this thing prints now is TPU, and it works beautifully. As long as you get it down good and tight. Oh, TPU or PETG, yes. You don't want to use this with PETG. TPU, it sticks really well, but will break free. PETG, this is basically, from what I understand, the actual material is very similar to PETG, and it becomes one. If you're going to use this with PETG, you put a little glue stick, or I don't know, he's got something else he puts on it, and that keeps it from sticking too well. You have an item out for delivery that came from Arizona. That means the quadcopter's almost here. Oh, wow. I didn't know she was trying to print that. I didn't know she was. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. I posted the chicks made a llama, a llama planter out of clay. And it was like, oh, I got to do it. I'm gonna have to redesign it and make it 3D printed. But she's actually designing and building a 3D printer, clay printer. She just said 3D printing. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So, yeah, she's gonna print a llama planter with clay. She already built one out of clay by, hand. Yeah, the nanopolymer works pretty good, I guess. I haven't actually tried using that like direct on the metal. Didn't even think of that. I forgot all about that. I gotta try the nanopolymer. I bet that would work pretty good. Like I said, the only problem I have with flipping it over is now you have the easy mat between the magnet and the metal, and it makes it weaker magnet wise. But that's, again, it depends on what you're printing with it, how flexible it is, how strong it is, blah, 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 blah. There's so many variables that it's all going to depend on what you're doing with it, how well it works. Yeah, I got some here somewheres. I've played with it. I haven't really noticed any improvement over this with PLA. I don't see it any better or any worse. It doesn't even seem to notice anything. I haven't really played with it like trying to direct on the metal or anything yet. It's right here. So here it is. This crap. Nanopolymer. One of these days I'm gonna I should do that. Just try it right on the sheet of metal. It might work. Might work fine. Yeah, PLA doesn't need anything. It just sticks to everything. Blue tape! Good thing about blue tape and this stuff too. And that's the other thing I like about this. You can almost not heat your bed with this with PLA. You know what I have noticed though? The other thing with this, it's time to clean your Mac. Yeah, sure. I got a little auto thingy that tells me when I need to delete all my excess files. Junk crap. Some of these metallic-y, like the copper and the shiny polymer PLAs that all have like the glossy metallic look, they stick too well to this too. Like too well. You can get it off of here, but it usually breaks the model getting it off. So I usually don't. That's why I actually was using the PEI and the PEX, because those release it better. Yeah, the silks. The silks seem to stick to this way too well. I either put glue on this if I want to use this, which I usually don't bother doing. I'll just use the PEI or the PEX, either one, which are basically the same thing. I think the PEX is I like the PEX a little better if you can heat your bed that hot. Here's the problem with the PEX is, if you buy a Wham Bam for an Ender 3, will the Ender 3 bed heat up hot enough, maintain an even enough heat, blah, 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 blah. That ANET certainly does not. That ANET freaking bed, it will not heat up enough. I mean, I can make it, but it doesn't do it well. And it's not even enough. If you get out to the edges, it's way too cold. I'm thinking about getting rid of it, but that's down the road. My other option, what do you guys think of this? You got that silicone crap, engine gasket tube, where I did my own heat block socks, which I don't bother anymore because they're so ridiculously cheap. You might as well just buy them than wasting your time making them. And they make them for everything now. I originally started because you couldn't get them for like the knockoff, MK and those kind of blocks, where now you can, like every block in the world you can find. You just got to find the right one. But pretty much every shape and size, there's a sock for it now. But anyways, I got a whole tube of that crap, and I was thinking about pulling the bed off of that ANET and squirting that on the bottom of it, spreading it out, let it sit overnight for an insulator. Yeah, I got plenty of socks, both for the printers and for my feet. I don't know if that would be a good idea or not. I think it would work. My only concern with that is most of those silicone thingies don't really stick to a surface well unless it's compressed. Like they're actually made to go, between two, like the engine block and the engine header head, and you put it on there, and you squeeze it together, and that's what holds it. Because a lot of that stuff just peels off, and I'm wondering if it would just peel off the bottom of the bed, to start drooping while it's in the middle of a print, which you could fix. I mean, you could use blue tape to hold it up there, or something like that. I don't want to use like a glue or anything, because then if I ever want to take it off, I can't. But I think I'm going to pull that bed. I may do it to this one too. I have enough. Put like a 1/4 inch thick layer of silicone on it, and use that tube of silicone, which is just laying around here anyways. What did I do with my tube of silicone? Somewhere. Where is it? I was just looking at it the other day going, I should use that. I should just let it sit here and dry up in the tube. I don't know if you guys know, but that stuff has a shelf life. It's like a year. But once you open it, you got like 6 months to a year to use it. Otherwise, it'll crust up on you. In the tube. Uh-oh. Jam. I don't know where. It's here somewhere. But you know what I'm talking about. Regular old, it's high temperature, 500 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like whatever it is, like 260 degrees Celsius. Engine gasket sealer. Silicone gasket maker stuff. I was thinking about using it on the bed. Engine gasket, but yeah, RTV sealant basically. It's not really RTV because it's a true silicone. But yeah, engine gasket. I used to make socks out of it for the heaters. And I got a whole tube of it. I was going to spread it on the bottom of the bed as an insulator. See if it would heat up better, more evenly, hold temperature evener. I don't know. I see people doing like the cork and everything that works great, but it's hard to keep it attached in the middle. It's always sagging and blah blah blah. Where you could spread that on, let it sit overnight. I think it would give you a nice even insulator on the bottom and help blah 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 insulate the bed, keep it from spitting heat out the bottom unnecessarily. Keep it more even throughout the whole plate. The outer edges always get cold because they're the outer edge and they get all the airflow. I don't know if it would work or not. I think I'm going to try it. I have the tube. All I got to do is pull the bed off of that, although I don't really want to pull the bed off of that because it's such a pain to get that thing level again because it's such a piece of crap. Yeah, but I don't know. Rubber pipe wrap insulation. Yeah, I don't think it's that heavy though. If I don't know how thick what you're looking at is. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's usually like I think it is silicone. It's like a silicone. Are you talking the tape crap that you wrap around, or the tubes? I don't know how you detach the tubes because they're shaped. But it's the tape crap that's got self-adhesive junk on it. You could probably it would take a while if it's the 1 inch. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It's not that heavy. No heavier than a piece of glass. Yeah, it's the adhesive back. It's basically like old bicycle handlebar tape. Same idea. But it's only like 3/4 inch thick, isn't it? 1 inch, 3/4 inch. Be a lot of strips going across there. But who cares if it's laying around and you're not using it for anything else? Couldn't hurt. Is he really? I've never seen that one. Oh, you're working today, Vince? Good for you, in a way. Uh-oh. That ain't good. I hear something. Not good. I was just rubbing on a little hair that stuck up. Got the little hairy print thing that stuck up and was rubbing against the ducks. Yeah, this is probably my favoriteest bed surface right now. And they just got new ones that are black. And they just say TH3D in the corner. Without the graph or anything on it. It's literally flat black like Buildtech. Which I know they were saying he got rid of the graph because people didn't like I like the graph. It kind of gives me an idea of where it's landing. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter, I guess. The blue's all right too. I don't know why he changed it. Might have saved him a few bucks in manufacturing. I don't know. I have a feeling that the llama mat isn't going to ever happen because the red, I guess, is a pain in the butt to mix to get that burgundy red color of my logo. You don't want the graph, or you do want the grid? I like the grid. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't really do anything. You can't. It truly doesn't help, other than I like it because it is a contrasting color. So if you're like printing blue on here, you can sometimes actually see the print because it's crossing the white line. You're like, oh, there's the filament. You know, when you're doing the first layer. Yeah, I prefer it with the grid. Again, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't do you any damn good in reality. You can't even really use it for centering because with one of these, you can't guarantee you're putting this thing down dead center on it. So you can't go, oh, I'm, for centering the nozzle or whatever. It is what it is. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Little clean up. Oh, I'll tell you what. These skateboard wheels on this chair are nice and quiet. They hold the chair up too high. I wish they'd make, like the 5-point crown that the wheels go to, the little, whatever you want to call it, the little arms. They're going down. I wish they'd just made them level or go down less. So when you plug the skateboard wheels in, skateboard, I keep calling them skateboard, roller skating wheels, whatever they are, they don't hold the chair up so high because my feet barely touch. But they are quieter and they are smoother and they are nicer than the hard plastic old desk chair wheels. God, I hated those things. And they don't catch as much crap. They don't roll into it as much into the floor. Definitely a better concept. Just need to redesign the whatever you want to call it, the base, I guess, where the wheels go into. Make it less angled so it pushes the chair down to the floor more. Damn, my legs are killing me today. Yeah, build plates. They're good things. Where's Tanner? I want to talk to Tanner. Tanner's building like crazy, like modeling, like army stuff. What did he do, a forklift or something the other day he started working on? He's got like 10 different freaking little vehicles he's working on all at once. Plus, I'm sure he's like going crazy trying to get the house. And I'm sure he's got to do everything, where his wife is working and he's not right now. He's got to do all the running around crap because, why not, since he's just home all day. I think he's kind of doing the same thing I am, too, with the in-law. Pretty sure his father-in-law is living with him. So he has to do some care for him. Yeah, but the grid doesn't show that's all in the slicer. The grid doesn't really help you any on the actual bed because you do it all in the slicer. Once you just hit print, it. Yeah, I've used it for tuning too, more or less just to center it because I make sure my head goes off the printer bed. All of mine now are designed to so I can like purge it and stuff, and it's not on the bed. It just droops down onto the desk next to it. And then I use it, because then you have to set your offset of the head to the center of the bed. So I use it, I do a little grid real quick and sort of basically make sure it's in the center of the bed. But I can do that with a magic marker on pretty much any of them. You just use a permanent marker and put an X in the middle of the bed and do the same thing. But I like the grid. There's a couple of reasons to use it. It's not going to kill me not having it either way. It is what it is. Anyone want to jump in here and not listen to just me babble and have other opinions, and it'll just happen. We don't even have a Mr. Buttram in here to disagree with me on everything and correct me. What's up with that? I need my Wikipedia Buttram. Yeah, it's fine. I probably won't do this much longer anyways. I just hopped on just for like an hour. It's too early. People are going back to work again, so the day streams are kind of limited. And I've been working in the mornings. The only reason I didn't this morning is because I had to go shopping, and my legs are absolutely freaking killing me today. I really wanted to work out in the yard because it's nice and cool. It's only like 70 degrees out now. It was like 62 degrees out this morning. It was just perfect for mowing the lawn and working out in the yard. And I just, after shopping, my leg said, "Nope, not going to carry your fat ass around out in the yard. We are on strike." My kneecaps went on strike this morning. They are freaking killing me. Wow. So there's that. And I'm out of freaking Advil. So it was a double dose of Tylenol today. Wee. I'll get over it. I always do. That printer is running so good. It is probably the cheapest of all my printers, and it's probably the best running one. To get the cheapest board of the three, they all have at least 2208s in it. Well, the Duet has whatever they are, 2130s or whatever they are built into it, which are basically the same thing when you get right down to it. But that thing is the quietest, smoothest, best. The Max Micron is now, something blew up. I got to figure that out. I'm not going to play with it today probably, but I either popped the driver or the motor's going or something on the Max Micron because, oh my God, bed movement now is loud as hell. I'm not big on the UART. I prefer to manually adjust the heat, the power. I find it easier. You set it and forget it. With the UART, you got to keep freaking doing the firmware over and over and over again, which you don't on a Duet. You can just type it in there. And yeah, you can use the freaking PRAM thingy on it. But then if you ever do anything, and I'm always dicking with them, if you ever update the firmware or anything, you got to remember what it was. And if you didn't remember to, download it, then you forget whatever your settings were, and then you got to start all over. Or if it's manually set, it's set and that's done. Yeah, you can keep your Klipper. Klipper's just a pain in the butt to me, and I don't see any major improvements. It's just a fancy way to go about it. There's really no advantage of Klipper on a bed slinger. I could see it on like a, like on a lava core if I didn't already have a Duet. If I was going to run a Marlin board on a Core XY and then use Klipper, I see it. But a bed slinger, it's not going to give you any advantage because a bed slinger is not going to go that fast. Then it's going to make a whole lot of difference. Yeah, I just have to remember to do that M503 before every firmware update and then write it all down and then blah, blah, blah. Or I could just manually adjust it with a screwdriver and never touch it again. Not have to worry about doing it. Don't have to worry about anything. I know it's right. It's tested. It's mechanically set. I know it's correct. Nope. No blinking. Nobody in the lobby. Gearing up for my son's grad party. Oh, he graduated. That's right. Yeah, that is nice. That's the one thing I really like about the Duets is you can just type in whatever and hit go and reboot the computer and you're done. You don't have to compile. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to deal with it. It just does it. I really don't think it's as good of a actual working firmware, though. I think Marlin actually is more precise, I guess, or more accurate. I seem to get better prints out of Marlin generally than I do out of the Duet now. I'm using a 0.8 nozzle and a 0.6 and a 0.4. So, yeah. Yeah, if you're going to do a tool changer, there's really no other option that I can think of. Although the new SKR board, the SKR Pro, will it has more outputs, but they now have a breakout board just like the Duet does for drivers. So you can drive all the tool heads and do the, tri-point bed leveling and all that fancy crap and have a million different motors on your printer, which, again, I have no desire for. It's way above and beyond my abilities to deal with firmware and software and slicing, and I don't have the patience for that crap. I mean, I don't even want to deal with sample spools, let alone all that crap. Boy. Have no patience for ridiculous crap anymore. Too old and tired for that. I love to tinker mechanically. I don't like to tinker with software and firmware, and that's just a pain in the butt to me. I'll 3D print and redesign and rebuild and structurally set up any printer in the world. I love doing that. The minute you get into the firmware and the software, it's like you push the button and I want it done. The less I have to do, the better. For sure. Yep, supposed to be hot this weekend. I'm reading freaking 10 minutes ago posts from Red Light. It's supposed to be wicked hot. It's supposed to be the hottest day on Monday. And we're having my father's funeral finally after, 3 months on Monday. Outside the church, because the church is closed. Can't even get in it. Not only because of COVID, but because they put a new entryway on it. And the guy that built it had no clue what he was doing. And it's all fallen down and rotten, and it's not even 6 months old. Freaking morons. They first went out to bid on that thing. I said, do this, do this, do this. Make sure the builder has this and this. I went into my parents' church and said, make sure this, this, and this was in there. If you want me to go in and inspect it, I will. They ignored everything I told them and did the exact opposite. Took the cheapest freaking bidder they could. And I told them, of the 3 bids, I would take the middle guy, especially if he's only a little bit more. No, they took the cheapest one, which I looked at that and said, no way. That's like 50 grand under what it should be to just in materials, for crying out loud. Nope, took the cheapest guy, all falling apart. They got the whole front of the church tarped off because it won't. It's literally falling down. It's brand new, 6 months old. It's falling down. Yeah, no, he passed way back in beginning of April. It's not a big deal, actually. I'm kind of glad. I didn't know that sounds wrong, but he was miserable the last year. Didn't know what was going on. His brain was basically cooked. He had no clue what was going on. Blah, blah, blah. He was just miserable. It was just, at that point, there's no point. Anyway. It is what it is. And of course, now they're locking down the state again. The state is opening. Check this one out. Connecticut is now, or was, I don't know if it still is because I don't pay attention to the news anymore. But as of like last week, Connecticut was the highest testing with the lowest new COVID positive. We were testing more and more people than anybody else, percentage-wise, not actual numbers, but we had more percentage testings with a lower positive tests than any other state. That was like last week. But now we've locked all other states out. If you come into the airport in Connecticut, you have to have paperwork. You have to be tested. You have to sign off this, that, and the other thing. It's like 3 pages of all this crap. Anyone coming from one of the 13 red states, the high, Florida, Texas, any of those, has to mandatory go into quarantine. You cannot enter the state. If you come off the airport and your license says you're from Texas, they ship you to a hotel and they lock you up for 2 weeks. You cannot enter the state. If you try and enter the state and drive in and they pull you over with a Florida or a Texas license plate and you don't have the paperwork, it's a $2,000 fine as of yesterday, Wednesday. And they lock you up into a hotel, put you on quarantine for 2 weeks. So my brother's coming from Colorado, which is not one of the bad states yet, but he still has to have all the paperwork done. He actually works for the military. So where he works for the military and he's high risk because the military is all over. He actually has to be tested 2 days before he comes here, has to have all the paperwork. They're going to make him go through this whole screening thing when he gets off the plane. And they may either throw him back on the airplane and say, go back home if he doesn't agree, or they throw him into a hotel, or they release him as long as he passes all these tests, take his temperature, do all this crap. Yeah, Connecticut's gotten, but all our stuff's open in state. You can go to a bar now. You can go, pretty much everything's open again. All our restaurants are open. All our bars are open. Everything's open to in-state. Even the casinos. The casinos all open last week. In-state only. You can't enter the casino from out of state. They won't let you in. Not only do they take your temperature, make sure you're wearing a mask, but they also want to see an ID and a license, or a license as an ID. And if it's an out-of-state license, you can't get into the place. They won't let you in. And that's both casinos. That was the agreement the casinos made to reopen. Not that they have to listen to the governor at all, but they're trying to be agreeable. People, I don't know if you guys realize, but our casinos are not part of the United States. They are sovereign nations. They actually have their own whatevers. They still try and follow the state crap just to make things happy. It is kind of cool that they're sovereign nations, though. Back when my father first got sick from Crohn's disease, my father was one of the first ones to have Crohn's disease that they didn't even know what it was back then, back in the late 60s, early 70s. And there's a drug that's, I think it's pretty much available now, but back then it wasn't available to help with it. Make them so I can poop normal and not have gut aches and blah, blah, blah. But it was illegal in the United States. But Canada was doing it as a test along with Europe. Europe and Canada were releasing it under, limited beta or whatever you want to call it, supplies. So we actually took my father to Canada, paid the $50 because they have universal health care there. Got a doctor because our doctor, said go up to this doctor in Canada. So we brought him up to Canada. Went to the doctor. The doctor prescribes it. It's a prescription. They ship it to the Mohegan Sun because it's a sovereign nation, so the FDA has no control over it. We go to the Mohegan Sun once a month and pick it up. And that's how we got it in country. Is that sad or what? It's just so stupid. I mean, I get the whole making sure, you're not going to, the side effects aren't going to be worse than the original thing and doing testing and everything. But I think the FDA has gone above and they get to the point where they make it so safe it's no longer viable. If that makes sense. I mean, there's always those chances, but I don't know. It's like sometimes, hey, this could save you from dying. Well, it's not safe. It could kill you. Yeah, but I'm dying anyways, so. What's the difference? At least option A is I'm going to die. Option B is I could take an experimental drug and maybe not die. Well, the drug could kill you, but I'm dying anyways. So I don't get it sometimes. Like, yeah, it's an experimental drug, but it's still, even its worst case scenario, it's still better than your existing case scenario. So I'll let them have it. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And half the time, most of these pharmaceutical companies find ways around it anyways. They just use it for an excuse to charge more. Yeah, no, we had that. We just opened beginning of last month. mid last month. I'm trying to think of when the bars actually open. Restaurants opened like 3 weeks ago, and the bars opened like 2 weeks ago. And the only thing you can't do in a bar is you can't sit at the bar. You have to get a table. The tables all have to be 6 feet apart, blah, 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 blah. But you can go and sit at a bar. Most of the bars, we've released a bunch of like restrictions that Connecticut used to have. A lot of the bars are setting up outdoor seating in the parking lot, which you used to not be able to do because of other reasons and health cares and cars running into it. Like most of the 2 or 3 of the bars I know around here all put up Jersey barriers in the parking lot because one, you got less seating, so you got less people. And they've taken half their parking lot, put Jersey barriers up so someone can't just like drive through the people sitting there. And the state actually is assisting in the cost of the Jersey barriers or other protective means. And they're putting outdoor seating up and tents, but they're getting assistance from the state to pay for some of these excessive necessary safety, like the tents and stuff are state subsidized. They don't get it all back, but they can put a claim in for them and get some of their tax write-offs or whatever. I don't know the details, but they're getting some assistance, which is good. I mean, a packed bar on a Friday night makes, 10 or 20 grand on a Friday night, where now they're not making squat. They're making a couple $100. And they have to spend, $5,000 to make a couple $100 extra is just not worth it. Anyway, I've been doing this for an hour. I think I'm going to kill it. How far along is my printer? It is at 85% with an ETA of 11:45. That's 20 minutes. I'm saying 20 minutes left. So, yeah, 20 minutes. Hey, Jerry, weren't you here before? Did you leave or something? Yeah, I think I'm going to kill it. It's been fun. It's been real. We actually sort of talked 3D printing in the beginning. Then we went to the stupid COVID crap. And I'm done with the COVID crap. Tired of talking about it, hearing about it, listening to it. Anyway, on that note, it's been an hour. See you, bye.